What's up, my Beardos and Weirdos? One topic here. We're diving right back into our favorite subreddit, r/ProRevenge. We have 2 stories to go through today, and then some bonus content at the end. The first story is about someone who's curious if they can be prosecuted for putting garbage in a container with a "do not eat" sticker in a shared fridge. The second story is about a programmer whose company tries to work them over, and when they try to leave, all hell breaks loose. And the final one, I'm just going to talk about a story that I saw I really enjoyed, and I'll explain more about that later. I found this on Quora, and I thought it was too good not to post here. Original question: if a coworker is stealing your food and you address the problem by putting something in it that makes the thief sick, can you be prosecuted for that? What if you put your name on it and leave a "do not eat" note? Author, Geraldine Beatha. Many years ago, the early 70s, my dad came home complaining that someone was drinking the iced sweet tea he took for lunch. He's getting ready to eat, and half would be gone. He didn't know if they were using a cup or drinking straight from the thermos, and considering the group he worked with, he wasn't going to take any risks. This left him with only the water for lunch. This happened several times, and he finally decided to do something about it. He went to the pharmacy and asked for the strongest laxative they had. The pharmacist asked why he wanted something that strong, and my dad explained the situation. The pharmacist, an older gentleman that had been running the store most of his life, told my dad that it was a bad idea since it could cause dehydration and other problems. Instead, he handed my dad a bottle labeled Essence of Peppermint. He told him to use the entire bottle in the thermos. He also told my dad that if anyone asked what was in the tea, to just say, "Don't worry about it." This was truthful. He said that drinking the entire bottle would only settle your stomach if you had indigestion, and nothing more. The next day, he took the spiked tea to work. Sure enough, at lunch, he found that the spiked tea had been tapped again. He recapped it, remarked that he'd soon know who took the tea, and finished his lunch. A few minutes later, a coworker came to him holding his stomach, demanding to know what was in the tea. He just said, "Don't worry about it." Shortly after that, the coworker left work sick. Soon, his wife called and asked my dad what was in the tea. Her husband was moaning that he was in pain and had been poisoned. My dad told her what was in it and told her to call the pharmacist and verify it was harmless. She was laughing too hard to even say goodbye as she hung up the phone. Edit: I made it to YouTube for the first time. Hi, Mom. Now the second time. OP, what a good find on Quora. I've seen some really interesting posts. We've even featured some posts from other pages on previous videos. If you check out, I believe it's r/thathappened has some Quora in that. I believe that video does. I know I've had it in some other ones as well. What a great find. Thanks for sharing that, OP. Employee reneged on compensation agreement, left and milked them for $35K in 2 months. Hi all. Edit: title should say employer, not employee. Sorry. Throw away for soon to be very obvious reasons. I've generalized every aspect of the story to keep it anonymous. I hope you enjoy reading about my experience. I'm not willing to offer any more information or evidence for this, so just take it for what it is. Also, the point of the story isn't to brag over money, but to share my revenge plan and execution. Anyways, I work in software development using very in-demand and complex frameworks and tools. The average salary doing what I do in my area is around $110K a year for a relatively simple, low-level job. By this, I mean a position where the employee does not have much major responsibilities, works as part of a much larger team, etc. I worked on-site and then remotely as a contractor for 3 years for a company, hereafter named The Company, while I was at university. As a contractor, I was the only developer in the entire company of a few hundred people, and was solely responsible for all systems, development, testing, etc. This includes databases, web servers, and much more. This seems like a lot. It was. But I had full control of my environment and autonomy. I worked on the software projects that I wanted to and felt would have the most impact. During that period of remote work, upper management was changed. After I completed schooling, I received an offer from the company for $70K. I knew that this was below what I should be making, but I also realized the following. I had full autonomy in my environment. I had some gaps in my skill set. By staying in this environment, I could fill in those gaps very easily, prepare to transition to another higher paying job. So new management and I reached an agreement. I would accept a salary of $72,000, and then, after 6 months' time, We would meet to go over my salary, and it would be increased by at least 15%. This was included in my offer letter, which both new management and I signed. Fast forward to 6 months later, I have now filled every gap in my skill set and expanded on it to increase my skill set even more. The 6-month marker rolls by, and nothing happens. I send new management repeated meeting requests, and they are ignored. 3 weeks into the 6th month, I go to HR and raise the issue. HR turns ghost white and makes the meeting happen. That afternoon, the management comes into my office and offers me a 1% raise. Yes, that's correct. 1%. I kept my cool though, and reminded them that I was guaranteed at least 15% due per our agreement. New management completely denied making this agreement and repeated their previous offer. I brought out my offer letter with both of our signatures on it, and they started backpedaling. They said they would talk and get back to me. I made it very clear that if I did not receive the agreed upon amount, we would have a problem. Fast forward to 2 weeks later. New management invites me to their offices. I am then offered a 6% raise. They try to make excuses about budget restrictions, fairness to other employees, whatever they could think of. I knew then I had these options. 1. Quit. 2. Demand the 15%, possibly get it, but severely damage my relationship with new management. 3. Accept the 6% raise and maintain a strong, positive relationship with the new management, allowing me to blindside them later. The wheels in my head spinning, I agreed to 6% raise. At that moment, I decided what I would do. I would take the raise, use the remainder of my time there to look for another job, and leave. A few months passes, though, and my plan expanded. I began implementing the most cutting-edge technology, using the most modern frameworks, upgrading everything I could as aggressively as I could. Of course, this provided immense benefit to the company. That was the plan. I entrenched myself in every system, in every way possible. Increased the skill floor for my position as high as I could get it, and left. 4 months after accepting the 6%, I accepted an offer of a salary of $130K at another company. I put my 2 weeks notice in at the company, and all hell broke loose. New management knew that they had messed up, and they were completely blindsided that I was unhappy with my position. Since I had graciously accepted the 6%, they thought they were off the hook. With me, I took all knowledge of almost every one of their systems. New management freaked out, so I did what any capitalist would do. I offered to come back as a remote contractor for $200 an hour. They had no choice but to accept. So, over the last few months, I have been charging them $200 an hour to do the exact same thing that I was previously doing for significantly less. Now, instead of being out a few $1,000s a year due to my raise, they've been outed over $35,000 in a few months, with no end in sight. I even hired one of my good friends to help fill the hours. The money is nice, but the look on new management's faces when this played out was priceless. It was the sweetest revenge of my life. Additional edit. I want to add that I never did anything unprofessional or untoward towards my fellow employees or employer. I am not billing inflated hours, sabotaging, or anything like that. Everything I did and have done is honest work. Another edit. Wow, I came home from work and checked this. I did not expect such a huge response. I appreciate everyone's responses and am glad so many people have got enjoyment out of my story. It seems I struck a nerve with my fellow IT workers and other industries. Many people have asked exactly what I do. Many people have asked what exactly I do. I originally said that I would not provide additional information, but I figure I can provide this. My current role is as a senior full-stack engineer in the finance industry. This means my job is split between two things, the back end and the front end. I'm not going to go into detail as to what that means. A quick Google will explain it all, but I will say what I use every day for each. For the back end, I work with, and then OP lists a whole bunch of nonsense words that I think definitely mean something to somebody out there, and they don't mean a lot to me, because I edit pictures all day long, and then I edit videos. JavaScript. Yep. Hey, I hit one. Yeah, I've worked with JavaScript. Oh, Bootstrap. Oh, yeah. HTML. There we go. All right, we hit a couple that I knew. Back to the story. I use Visual Studio Professional, Visual Studio Code, CLI, SQL Management Studio, Postman, VMware, and some other tools to do my job. This does not include the software design practices, project management skills, etc. that accompany a senior level software engineering position. These are just the tools I use to facilitate that. The main thing about my position is that I must be able to deliver a stable, scalable answer to any problem on my own. Hopefully that helps some of you out. You can find tutorials and documentation on Microsoft's website that will introduce you to every one of these tools and frameworks. Except Angular and JS stuff, check the respective website for that. Spin up a GitHub repo and get to coding. Some people have commented and said that I should have charged more than $200 an hour. And maybe you're right. But in my area, a programming contractor can be had for about $240 on average, so I wasn't trying to push the envelope too much. I wanted me to be the only reasonable option. After all, getting greedy may come back to bite me. Case in point, my former employer. Some people have said I should work more hours. Yeah, again, maybe. I work as much as I am needed. I could milk it and get more hours, but at the end of the day, money is only money. My health, time with family, and peace of mind are worth more than a few extra dollars, especially when I've already made so much. That may sound condescending, and I don't mean for it to be that way, but it is what it is. A lot of money doesn't create happiness. My previous employer caused extreme burnout and stress from dealing with their mismanagement, and I don't want to feel that way again. Hopefully that answers everyone's questions. Thanks for reading. Last and final edit. Hi everyone, I received some hateful messages last night, so this will be my last and final edit. I want to reiterate that while my position uses the skills listed above, that does not represent everything I do. In reality, project management, database design, and many other things play into my role in a very heavy way. In my area, a standard .NET developer makes around $85K average, but I am not just a .NET developer. My salary of $130K is accurate for my area, and a skill set, including those skills not included above, I am not willing to go into more detail than that. Some people have commented that I could have been easily replaced by another .NET developer at my old job, and that I am overestimating myself too much. Based on this post, that is true. I did not include that I worked with closed legacy systems with no documentation. So, in reality, they would have to find someone with knowledge of those systems or have me train them. Due to the nature of the systems I worked with, I assure you that it is not as easy to replace me than you think. And everything I said in my original post is true. For those of you that have sent me a message that was not hateful, I will respond to you soon. And, like a famous hobbit once said, this is the end. I'm going now. I bid you all a very fond farewell. OP. It's great to read a story where someone plans that far ahead and is willing to invest in the place that they're about to work over. Or at least exact some very just revenge on. It's difficult. It's difficult tackling these things at work when you realize that your livelihood is on the line. But it's good to know that someone knows their worth, is willing to be patient about how they go and get it, and has a plan for how to attain it even if it isn't the first offer provided to them. Thanks for sharing that, OP, and not sure why you're getting a lot of hate messages, but hey, looks like you're successful in your field, and that's something anyone should be proud of. Good for you. Alright, and the final one I want to touch on today is something I'm just going to read the top of. I'm not going to dive into the story. The Redditor that posted it will make it pretty clear that having it be read out is not something that was their goal. So, let me just try diving in. Fire me anytime. Ex-post from malicious compliance. First of all, / and any of you clickbait generating websites, you do not have permission to use this post in any way. This post is for the enjoyment and entertainment of the subreddit's readers, not for you parasites to try to monetize the writing of others. Eat a bag of decha, the lot of you. Now, I wanted to say that while I really enjoy reading everyone's stories and I appreciate everyone posting them and all of the positive feedback that I receive afterwards, I do want to say that I recognize some people do not want to have their stories read out, and that's totally fine. If I see any comments in there from any of the posters that say that they do not want to have their stories read out, I'll absolutely respect that. It's definitely not my goal to read out a story where the author has clearly stated that they do not want it to be read out. Anyways, if you want to read a really, really long story that is well thought out and written, take a look at this one. It's had a lot of attention recently, and it's worth a read. Alright, my Beardos and Weirdos, this was another fun video to go through, another r/ProRevenge. I really appreciate everyone checking out these videos, and hey, did you notice that we hit 2,700 subscribers? It's crazy. I'm so proud that this many people have wanted to check out what we're reading and all these different stories that we're sharing. Thank you to everyone that's commenting and letting me know your thoughts. I've really appreciated the opportunity to connect with you guys and really just share some stories back and forth. Let me know what videos you want to see next. I've had some recommendations for what subreddits people have wanted to see, and I have a couple fun ones in mind that I'm going to be coming up with pretty soon. Alright, my Beardos and Weirdos, we'll see you in the next video, where we take it one topic at a time.